Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. So glad you're here. It's springtime 2018 and my plants in my balcony are starting to wake up after a long winter. And I think it's time I take you on a tour and let you see what's new on my balcony. The San Pedro cactus is doing really well. The two little nubs that started to grow are growing again. This planter here, I've got quite a selection of Portulacara afra and some sedum and senecio. I added some height to it, or hoping to get some height to it, with a cutting of Sticks on Fire, and that Golem Jade I'm hoping will add some more height to it. Got my fairy gardens here. My mermaid fairy garden is doing really well. Lost very few plants from it. This is my latest fairy garden that I did with Mountain Crest Gardens. It's doing really well too, showing a lot of growth already. And the Echeveria gibiflora, it's doing wonderful. It's got some beautiful light pink tinge to it. It's just lovely. This is my wall of hanging baskets here. I am loving these Coco liner hanging baskets. My succulents do so well in them. I did add a new one here with the donkey's tail or burro's tail. It's doing great there. I think it'll really like it there. The Senecio Jacobsonii, the tricolor one, it's doing well too. It's still maintaining that brilliant purplish tint to it. And my string of bananas is really starting to fill in, but the other newest member is this string of beads. It's not a string of pearls, it's a string of beads, which is a little bit more hardier. It's a hybrid, and it does have some flowers on it that I'm hoping will bloom very soon, but it's going to do well here. Like I said, I really like these Coco liners. I think that my succulents, at least the hanging ones, do much better in them. The bougainvillea is also doing well. It's starting to fill in this trellis, and the bracts are a brilliant purple color. The flower is just that tiny little white speck there, but the bracts are just a really wonderful purple color. And this sedum here, it's actually growing so much I had to drape it across the planter there because it was getting so long, but I didn't want to cut it either. I brought my Sticks on Fire outside. This is one I had inside the house or the apartment, and I brought it outside to see if it'll get a little bit more growth. This is my Portulacara afra variegated version. It's doing really well. This planter, it had a little accident this winter with a windstorm. It fell over and took out an aeonium that I'll show you in just a little bit. This is my cart here full of wonderful succulents. This is one of the first garden dishes that I did there with the Echeveria Lola and Pearl von Nürnberg. And this curly one here is a Frizzle Sizzle, I believe it's called. I got it last fall, and you can see it's getting a bud, a flower there. I just noticed it when I was filming this. I was so happy to see that, but I had to cut the tips off of that plant because it got damaged, but it's starting to curl again. And the euphorbia there, the Indian corn cob, is doing really well. My crested Eve's needle too. Got a monstrose there and an aloe striata, I believe. This little container here is just a little wood box that I filled with some aloe firebird and some sedum Tokyo Sun, I believe. And then my aloe pink blush. It's got a little pup there that it had in the fall, but I'm hoping now with spring that little pup will grow more. And a little collection of birdhouses that I have there. Down here I have my aeoniums. I've kind of bunched them all together because they grow in the winter time. This is the aeonium sunburst that had the accident. It got its head chopped off. I'm not sure if it will sprout from the stalk, but the head is rooting again. Aeonium Mardi Gras there, that's new to my collection, as is also the Aeonium Emerald Ice. And this is a new one that I hadn't seen before, Aeonium Irish Bouquet. I guess it stays very small, but we'll see how it does. This is the one I got at Rogers Gardens last fall, Aeonium Schwarzkopf, I believe it is. I'll put the name up on there just to make sure, but it's filling in really well. I love that deep burgundy color it has and the glossy leaves on it. Moving over to this shelf here, I've got some euphorbias growing here. This Euphorbia millii, or crown of thorns, is just coming out of dormancy. It's going to look wonderful. This is my other micro miniature garden. It's just really tiny, but it's doing really well. This is my Euphorbia Trigona rubra. I did propagate this, chopped the top off, and gave those to my son. But you can see the white streaks on it. That's part of that milky stuff that you need to be careful on these on. This is my other crown of thorns. It's getting just the tiniest little yellow flowers on it. It's just really cute. I love it. It's starting to fill in. It's real bushy and low, but I'm hoping it'll get some height on it too as it blooms also. Just a little container here, some sedum that I had that had died back, and it's just starting to grow. I think this is also Sedum Adolphii. And I have here Kalanchoe flapjacks. It's got a little damage from the winter. You can see it's starting to get some new leaves in the center there. Kalanchoe marginata, along with the Crassula watch chain there. And this is a little bit of a monochromatic display that I have here with some Kalanchoe and some sedum blue spruce hanging over the edge there. It's Kalanchoe silver spoons and Kalanchoe streptanthus, which I had not seen before. That's a new one for me, but it looks like it's going to do well there. This is the cotyledon pendants. This I had done in a DIY for this face planter here. It's doing okay. Lost some little petals there because it's so sensitive. It's kind of like the donkey's tail. They fall right off, but it's doing okay. This is Kalanchoe Fang. I'm cleaning it off because I did have a container above it that had a cocoa liner that the birds seem to love and were taking it for their nest, but I took it apart and used it for something else, and now the plants are clean again. This is an aloe striata. It's really grown this year. This is my sedum autumn joy that's just coming up. It will do a lot of growing in the spring and summer, and in the fall give off some brilliant flowers too. Purple hearts there in that container too. This is the newest member here. This is a Greptopatilum ghost plant. I found a 3-quart container, had a lot of buds on it, but it also in the center had a crested version of it too. So I picked that right up and planted the crested portion of it in this container and used the other pieces for another container. I did have to behead my Echeveria nodulosa because it was getting too leggy. So the stalk is showing just the slightest growth there, and the top has begun to root also, so it's doing really well. Now back here I have a brand new aloe that I purchased. I have no idea what kind of aloe this is. If you can help me out, if you know what kind of aloe this is, please leave it in the comments. The container only said aloe hybrid, but I got it because, one, it's beautiful. It's got some great texture to it, but it was also starting to flower. This is my newest project that I did, this strawberry pot. I've been wanting to get one of these for quite a while. I finally did it. I added a large cutting of a Sticks on Fire that my mom had. You can see from the picture there how big that was. So I took some cuttings from it, added it to the top of this container along with the other Greptopatilum ghost plant and some other containers that I had. The Calico Kitten came from a smaller strawberry pot that it had overgrown, so you can see there. So I took it out of that and put it in this larger jar. The Portrait of Clara Afra also came from another pot, Ripple Jade too. So I just kind of took from all these other pots that I had and put it in here. Kalanchoe Panda plant also. And I think it'll do really well. Lots of different types of plants in here, but it's once it fills in and starts growing, it's going to look just absolutely gorgeous. I've been wanting to do this project for a long, long time. Back in the corner here, I have my kalanchoe pink butterflies. I've been filling this pot out by cutting the stalks that are growing too long and then repotting them. So I've done that several times and it's really starting to fill out. This is my frog that I just love so much. I've had him for so many years. It has an aloe vera in it. I'm going to have to really think about moving this aloe vera because it is starting to outgrow this pot. I have some perennials and some bulbs here. This is a rubella. It grows some really wonderful purple blooms in the springtime. And these are some freesia bulbs that I had planted in November that have sprouted and are starting to bloom already. They're just beautiful. My mom turned me on to these years ago and I just love them. In the back there, I have a sea lavender that's doing okay. It could be a little better, but it needs some more sun. But it is starting to send up a flower stalk, so I think it'll be okay. This is my star jasmine that's just starting to wake up. It's showing lots of little new leaves, and I think a few little sprouts of flowers too. So it's going to be wonderful out here in the summertime with the scent of this jasmine. Over here, I have my makeshift propagation station and potting bench and storage and everything. I really don't have the space for large propagation and lights and all of that, so I just use these little bowls and trays and stuff to do some leaf propagation and cutting propagation. It seems to work out okay right now until I can get into a bigger space where I can have more room for a proper station. These are some Portulacara afra cuttings that I'm propagating there that are going to go in some other pots. My hibiscus did okay over the winter. They got a little burnt from some freezes, but they're starting to recover and get some new growth on them, so they should be fine. This is my little red wagon. I just love these cacti and monstrose and aloe firebird in there and thimble cactus. It's doing great. This little dish here also has an aloe that I do not know. I'm thinking it might be blue elf or something like that. I'm not sure. So if you know what kind of aloe that is, please let me know. This is a colander that I have a lot of things growing in that I kind of pick from. I picked some things from here for that strawberry pot. And here I have a Senecio Jacobsonii little garden dish there that I did recently. I'll leave the link to that, of some sedum and a haworthia. This is the strawberry jar that I had taken some things from for the other one, but I managed to find some cuttings to put in its openings and restart the growth process there. And it's a little bit better for this size of jar, but I also put a cutting of the sticks on fire too. This little mug I recently got at Goodwill and drilled a hole in it for this Echeverria Leticia. It's about to bloom also. I don't have this one, didn't have this one, so I'm looking forward to that. Cotyledon bear paws there along with the copper spoons. My little bird cage here, I recently took out the gnome and put this little boy in there. It has some Portulacara afra, strings of buttons, and it's just wonderful. I love that little bird cage. This is a mimicry. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, mimicry or mimicry plant. Love the color on it. It's Sempervivum Cebanese. Put it in a bigger pot because it was starting to send out some shoots and it just needed some more room. This is my, I love this plant. This is my pride and joy, my Portulacara afra that has grown at least 12 or 18 inches since we've been here. And I did add some height with a large cutting of that sticks on fire plant, and hopefully it'll even it out, but it is just wonderful draping there. My Talavera pot with a Crassula springtime there. And Rosie, too, out in the balcony, she just loves coming out here with a little stuffed piggy and spending some time out here in the morning time, especially. Thank you so much, friends. I hope that you enjoyed the visit with me today. And if you know some of the names of these plants, especially those aloes, please do leave them down below in the comment section. And please, if you have not already, give a thumbs up to this video and subscribe so you can see more of my plant adventures. Thanks so much for visiting with me today. I appreciate it so much, and have a blessed day, friends.